It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in cinema, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
And also we have the Merman. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah.
He is the merman.
Murray.
The merman.
Murray. The Merman.
Okay.
So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, thanks for supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform, or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining a membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible film, and we will watch it if it played anywhere in the world in a cinema.
Yeah.
Not at your mom's house on her TV, not at Merman's house on his Betamax, or on Bryce's Laserdisc in his basement, but in a cinema.
We're driving.
Yeah, it's a cinema. It's just a cinema for cars and people, not just people.
Man,
Now.
what a stellar start to the show.
Yeah, I don't think it could be any better. Now let's get to raging, but first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event, or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
Anybody feel like this could be the song of summer? Like, driving downtown in your Cadillac or your Lincoln DeVille. Is that a car?
I don't know.
I'm just shouting out words that sound like cars.
It's a Coupe DeVille. I don't know if it's a Lincoln DeVille.
Yeah, something with a DeVille in it. And I don't mean like Cruella. I mean like driving around with the just cranked up, and then Bryce comes on just doing some kind of weird rap.
Convertible.
Other than the Wham rap, I might add. But some kind of cool rap. And then it's just like on the beats are just a flowing. And then we went to the cinemas to see Barbenheimer. Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
But we saw Barbie first.
It's Barbenheimer.
As did I.
Barbenheimer is the social media
Yes.
hashtag for Barbie and Oppenheimer opening in the same weekend. I've never seen it for a movie
sweeping the
release
world.
ever. There's never been
Because it's probably the last big weekend the box office
we'll
is
ever
gonna
have for the rest of its
the
life.
rest of the next year.
Exactly.
All right, so I guess we're going to start with Barbie.
And then Heimer.
And then,
So Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
Barbie is an interesting bit of cinema. It manages to celebrate, make fun, and completely deconstruct its subject all at the same time. It is perhaps one of the silliest movies you will ever see, but woven into that silliness are some very topical and universal issues that are spotlighted effectively. It is a movie that wants to be for everyone, whether you love, hate, or are indifferent to Barbie. It is a very ambitious project in trying to do all this, and for the most part, its ambitions pay off. But to be honest, I do not really care about any of that. I went to Barbie to be entertained. So the question is, was it entertaining?
Oh, this is a question.
Simply put, Barbie is probably the most fun I've had at the movies in quite some time. From scene 1, I was either smiling or laughing. From the beach off scene to Kate McKinnon as weird Barbie, to the often forgotten Alan, played by Michael Cera, to John Cena as Ken Maid, a merman, not to be confused with our very own merman, to America Ferrara nailing her role as Gloria, a mom who feels as genuine as any character I have seen this year, to Barbie Land, where every set piece was so carefully thought out and executed. Everything just worked. Plus, it was nice to see Rhea Perlman and another bit of perfect casting. Of course, we also had Margot Robbie as Barbie, and dare I say no one could have done it better, and not just because she looks the part. And finally, Ryan Gosling, as one of the many Kens, did not have one scene in the movie that did not have me laughing. Most of the time, out loud. Anytime I need to smile, I just have to think of Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa House. And when I need to laugh, I will just recall Ken saying, "When I found out the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I lost interest anyway." And if I am ever feeling inadequate, I will just remember that Ken is Kenuff. If Ken is Kenuff, then so am I. I knew going in that Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig writing the script and Greta Gerwig directing, that this was probably going to be better than I could have ever imagined. What I did not expect is that it would be even better than that. This was almost 2 solid hours of pure enjoyment. Barbie was Mondo.
Awesome. I am so glad that you connected on so many levels.
Okay.
Okay, I'm literally happy about that. I couldn't be any happier. Could I?
I don't know. You don't look that happy to me.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm not that happy. Of all the movies made by toy companies, this was definitely the best of all of them. There are some amazing scenes that pull you into the fun that only a story about plastic and rubber dolls could bring. Well, although I'm sure the porn version made just of rubber might have been a little bit more fun, but at least for 7 minutes or so. The comedy hits where it's supposed to. The sets, music, and style of shooting are all incredible. The message, I think, was buy toys 'cause Mattel is cool. No. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Message, no. I think it was you be you or you're Knuff.
Yeah.
The heavy-handed poke at society and the still present inequity of women is just that, heavy-handed and intentional. And we definitely got the point. There are times for emotional self-discovery and humor that is pointed and funny. The acting is over the top and for the most part, but that's what you would kind of expect from a children's toy that comes to life. I mean, it's about a toy that's alive. So, I mean, is it Mannequin 3? No, but it's still about a toy that comes to life. The writing is clever, and the supporting cast is really fantastic. And you've already mentioned these: Michael Cera, Simu Liu, Kate McKinnon, Will Ferrell, John Cena as the Merman. Yes, the Merman, but not our Merman.
I'm a better merman.
Exactly. You're my only Merman. The movie is fun and definitely will entertain children of all ages, especially Bryce. But there is a but. It was too long, and by the time we got to the end, I got to admit I was a little tired of the preordained story that was unfolding. It had the curse of taking itself a little too seriously for a toy company movie, and I could not help but look at my watch twice. I had a really, really good time. I just wished I had 15 minutes less of it in this movie. This film is safe for you to bring your kids to, and it has a very positive message by the end. I do suggest people go see this because it is a lot of fun, as Bryce has already mentioned. And, as was stated in the movie, that's right, white savior Barbie. You are a high man.
It was Mondo. But
And because-
how awesome was it that they pointed that out? Because I literally was thinking at that time.
Of course you were. Everybody was.
I was like, oh my God, this is like totally. And then they just called it out, and then it's like, it's all okay.
Yeah, now it's okay. But because the matriarchy,
Patriarchy.
that too, wasn't about horses,
Yeah.
I lost a bit of interest in this film, to be honest, I'm going to say. I really liked it. It was fun, and I understand why you really liked it.
It did not drag at all for me. I literally found every scene just so much fun. Like, there was nothing. You couldn't look away from the movie. There was just so much going on.
I looked at my watch twice, so I could look away.
I got to go watch this again because there's stuff going on in the background that I kind of caught. I was like, oh, and then then it's gone.
Maybe you missed it in IMAX, but I think Murray might have saw this in IMAX. Did you see it in IMAX, Murray?
No.
You were going to see it in IMAX, weren't you?
No, it wasn't an IMAX.
Was there a surround sound version
No,
of
it
it?
came out the same day, same night as Oppenheimer. So IMAX was only Oppenheimer.
Oh, of course.
We did see it in Laser Ultra, whatever the hell it was.
Yes.
In the second row.
Yeah.
Because we got there late.
So he got a crook in his neck.
Well, it wasn't too far back. But yeah.
Well, what did you think of Barbie, the first half of Barbenheimer?
These are the Kens I know. There's an obscure Kids in the Hall reference for you.
Yeah, there it is.
If you got it. As they say, if you know, you know. There were certainly a lot of Kens in this movie, and 2 of them were Canadian. As it happens, one of them is my favorite Gosling.
What?
And second favorite Ryan.
What?
I never would have thought that skinny wisecracking kid from Breaker High would become one of Hollywood's most versatile and talented actors.
I would agree.
As his t-shirt appropriately says, he was Knuff. I honestly don't care about Barbies. As a male, heterosexual, redneck child in the 70s, I didn't play with dolls or even action figures. No G.I. Joes either. My first experience with that was Star Wars. And a rich friend of mine who had the entire collection. Then it was kind of cool. So I honestly didn't get it. Having said that, I quite enjoyed this film. You know me, I love me a good musical.
Yep.
Even if a couple of the songs are by Dua Lipa and Lizzo.
I love me the Lizzo.
I love the music in this film. Gosling had me in tears, mostly laughter, with his ballad, I'm Just Ken. And I especially love that line when they were in the real world, where they're hitting on Barbie. It's like, yeah, I don't have a vagina, and he doesn't have any genitals. And he goes, I have all the genitals.
He did have all the genitals.
Just because I'm laughing at that one. I even enjoyed his journey to the dark side, or as he called it, patriarchy. And of course, Margot Robbie was absolutely perfect as the perfect Barbie. I honestly can't imagine anybody else in that role. Sorry, Amy Schumer.
What?
I guess she's still bitter about that.
She was supposed to be?
She was up for it, apparently. Yeah, no, so you can't do any better than Margot Robbie. I had to quote one of my favorite lines from the movie by the narrator, Helen Mirren. Barbie screams, I'm not pretty anymore! To which the narrator replies, note to filmmakers, Margot Robbie is not the actress to get this point across.
It's true.
She's just too beautiful. That was the problem. Was this film perfect? No. In fact, for the first 20 minutes, I actually felt myself getting nauseous with all the wholesome goodness.
Oh, it's fun.
I heard the Lego Movie song, Everything is Awesome, in my head.
Oh,
thinking,
so that made it better, right?
So it's like, that's what this movie's going to be about. The whole 90 minutes or 2 hours of
everything
is awesome. I definitely would have.
Sign me up.
I would have thrown up my popcorn if that happened. I definitely wanted to head for the exit. Luckily, things got messed up quickly, and I enjoyed the ride. Definitely a pink plastic Mondo.
All right.
Nice.
So that's a Mondo sandwich.
Mondo
with a big chunk of man in the middle.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
No button for you.
No, ultimately for me, I was really enjoying the parts I'm supposed to be enjoying in this movie. I just felt I got a little bit tired of the film. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
It hit a
either.
point, and I was
That's
just like,
weird.
"Is this over yet?" Like, because yes, it's
There
fun and funny, but there was nothing surprising in this that was going to happen. You knew exactly everything that was going to happen.
So
I was expecting it to be something that I wasn't expecting, and it wasn't.
The writing.
So
The writing was superior.
the writing was good. I'm not complaining about it.
Performances were superior.
The performances
set
were
pieces
great.
were
Even Margot
amazing.
Robbie, who's
It's
been annoying me,
One of the prettiest movies you could ever look at.
it's very, very
It
good.
was pretty.
Yep.
I tell you.
And they had Barbies.
I looked at my
Helen
watch,
Mirren
and
was with the voiceovers. I mean, there was nothing that wasn't
she could've
fantastic.
she was good.
She could have been Grandma.
There was
Barbie.
one thing that was not fantastic.
Rhea Perlman. We got to see Rhea
She
Perlman.
was also
and she was
awesome.
awesome.
It was just 15 minutes too long
Nah,
for
it wasn't.
a movie that's going to now sell more Barbies.
Nope.
So,
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's gonna sell more everything.
yeah,
They have car commercials now
yeah.
because
So,
of the cars they were driving
so
in the movie.
that's
and-
also
and the
possibly part of the reason why, but
And the soundtrack is apparently breaking all kinds of records
Of
for
course
like
it is.
downloads and
yes.
people buying.
Absolutely.
I just hope they sell more Allens.
Yeah, the only thing they should be selling is
They
Allen's.
need more Allens.
If Michael Cera was 50% of this movie, it
By
would
the
have
way-
been a Mondo.
Every single second of Michael Cera was like
Was it was. He
was
was
amazing.
He was perfect.
He was
Yeah.
so good. I tell you, he's just so good in everything. I can't get enough of Michael Cera.
That is 100% accurate statement.
Yeah.
And if it was more him and less Barbie, it could have been Mondo.
Well, it was Mondo, so put that in your pipe and smoke.
Yeah, so it was meh. Do you know what's funny about this?
All of it. It was very funny.
No, not the movie. I mean, about the making and the concept of the movie.
Funny, haha.
Well, maybe a little bit of that. The head of Mattel's film division,
Yeah.
by the way, is a woman.
Kudos to Mattel.
I would hope.
Yeah, they
that-
had a lot of fun poked at them.
for letting this kind of go exactly
Yeah.
how they want. Like, I can't imagine that they left too much out because they let their product be just absolutely ripped apart.
Of course.
But celebrated at the same time.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
It's such an
because-
odd dynamic in
Yeah.
this movie because it like destroys Barbie and also makes it like the greatest thing ever.
Ultimately, that's the end of the story, right? Is it's the greatest thing ever.
Because that's the truth of
Yeah,
life. is
no,
kid-
it-
is
they-
girl-
there's
kids-
no-
They outgrow Barbies.
There's
and-
no. It is 100%. The movie ends with "You can be Knuff," and it's
right.
like, and that means
Wow.
every single Barbie has a purpose in
That's
everybody's life. So it's the message is still buy Mattel's product. So of course they're going to allow it to come
and
to
of
that.
course-
And they also know realistically, you go to Mattel's website, they have I think it's 3 of the 8 executives in Mattel are women. So they know
hope
that they know that the facts aren't there. It's a story.
No, it's
Yeah.
It's make believe. So of course Mattel, like, if you think there's not a hidden agenda, then
course there
buy
is.
some more Barbies.
It's a
Then you
toy
are
movie.
absolutely mistaken.
a movie called Barbie. Obviously, they're trying to sell more Barbies.
and
I'm saying
Just
and-
like
yeah.
G.I. Joe.
Exactly.
Trying to sell more
And-
G.I. Joe.
Exactly.
And how many Woody and Buzz Lightyears and Mr.
Yeah,
Potato Heads they sell after the first
Exactly,
Toy Story.
because this movie was pretty much rated G. There's some comedy in it that's a little.
Yeah, if you're under 8, you might not have got some of the
You
more
wouldn't have
subtle
got
stuff.
it, but it's still appropriate
Yeah.
that
No,
the
there
parents
was no
could take
bad
their
language
kids
or
to it.
anything, but yeah, there was some subtle
Yeah.
things.
So
but-
So there you go.
it was meh. So I'm glad
Yeah,
you guys loved
it. It was Mondo.
There you go. All right, we also got to see the Heimer part of Barbenheimer.
Enheimer.
Yeah, the Enheimer. The Enheimer.
The all part doesn't matter.
That's right. I know the question on everyone's mind is, does Jim still hate Christopher Nolan?
No, he doesn't.
And the answer is yes.
Oh, for crying in a
You
bucket.
make that many trailers and push it down everyone's throats for months, and
Just tell me what
You
you thought of the
feel
movie.
my wrath,
Yeah,
Christopher.
Yeah. Now give me the review of the movie.
No longer are you
yeah.
just Chris to me.
Yeah.
But what I
you
can
think of the movie.
tell you fine people in podcast land is that even if you have seen the 1,000 minutes of trailers that preceded this release of the film, You will not know what's going to happen when you go to
There's
see
1,000 more.
it. Of course.
Which I told you last week.
Except all the historical events that take place, like making a
they're
bomb.
historical events, so you already knew all
and
that.
an inquiry and all that other stuff. So other than that, you will not know what this is about.
There you go.
But now I will get to the review.
Oh, thank God.
But what I thought was going to be a biopic about Oppenheimer was a little more than that.
Sure was.
I guess I probably should have expected this from the currently undoubted Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Like all Nolan films, this one is set at a pace faster than the atoms of an atomic bomb. And if you are not paying attention, you may miss crucial information you wish you hadn't. This moves through time more than Tenet and Memento combined. So get ready for another sci-fi, time travel, political thriller biopic, unlike anything you've ever seen. The story, for the most part, takes place within a 10-year period in the creation of the bomb and the inquiry and pre-bomb buildup of Oppenheimer's life. We still don't get his full story, but if you want to watch that, go watch The Day After Trinity, the doc about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like all biopics, this does take some poetic license, as not all of the story is 100% accurate. But I feel this does capture the story and does give us the real story behind the man. Acting and casting in this was fantastic by every single actor except for one.
Rami Malek.
And in my opinion, the
had no
only
lines.
flaw was casting Matt Damon as the general.
Matt Damon.
He was
With
fine.
all the star power contained in this film, his performance seemed to feel lifeless and non-committal. And we've seen way better from him. So I have a higher level of expectation that he would have brought himself to. And you would expect from their relationship being the general and Oppie, that any of the conversations would have captured more emotion. I had real troubles with this as I was watching it. I hate to say this, but I actually really like Matt Damon a lot in a lot of his films. But we could have replaced him easily with any other root vegetable, like perhaps a carrot or fennel.
Mark
Definitely not garlic or turmeric, because that would imply that there had some flavor to his
I
acting,
don't know what the hell you're talking about.
which at no time happened in the entire acting in this film by Matt Damon.
He was fine.
No, he was the worst root vegetable I've ever seen him in. The other criticism of note was the sound mix, and
Really? I thought
Yeah.
that song was
I
good.
didn't mention that.
yeah, and I don't know, maybe it was the version that we saw and how we saw it. We saw it in IMAX.
I completely
Yeah, I know we
disagree,
saw
but
it in
go ahead.
But-
IMAX.
Yeah, but sometimes the music
too
was
loud.
drowning out the dialogue
too
in
loud.
many places, and it shouldn't have
Yeah.
at
No.
any point in the film. It was probably there was times where it was so loud
Yeah.
that it was probably as loud as an atomic bomb itself.
Yeah.
Other than these two things, the film is brilliant and had me on the edge of my seat to ensure I did not miss a single thing or line of dialogue in this film. Christopher Nolan, you still get my rage, but Oppenheimer, you get to keep your mondo. And I have some unpacking to do, but what did you guys think?
Let me tell you a story.
About a man named Jed?
It's not 3 hours long.
Oh,
Good friend of mine who was visiting from Toronto bought an IMAX ticket to this film way back in June.
just like us.
I mean, in Toronto. He was still in Toronto when he bought it. Because, FYI, there are only 30 theaters in the world
What?
that can show IMAX films in 70 millimeter.
Really?
In film, not the digital print. So, it was a pretty big deal for him. He went to the very first showing at 6 p.m. on the Thursday night, the preview night. I was supposed to meet him after and go to Barbie. Imagine my surprise when I got a text from him saying the film was all screwed up, out of focus, and the sound was out of sync.
Oh my God.
So I met up with him earlier and we went to Barbie instead. All he got from that experience was a refund and a piece of film stock as a souvenir,
Wow.
which they're handing out.
That's
Apparently.
pretty cool.
He went back to Toronto where he will have to watch it on a regular digital screen.
That's terrible.
This was such a big story, it made the news across the country.
Whoa.
So yay for Cineplex and IMAX for screwing that up.
That doesn't surprise me with Cineplex, but okay.
Jim and I went to see it at the fake IMAX, as my friend calls it, which is still a big screen. So to be honest, it didn't make a difference to me. It may have been the only digital, but it was a huge screen and we had good seats. Did I mention yet? It was 3 hours long.
You did kind of mention.
I really hate 3-hour movies. I don't care what they are. Of course, I had to go to the bathroom halfway through.
Of course.
So I missed 10 boring minutes of this masterpiece.
10 boring minutes? It was 10
I'm sure it was 10
minutes.
boring minutes, whatever it was. I didn't feel like I missed anything when I got back, put it that way. Yeah, Christopher Nolan makes awesome movies, even if I can't understand half of them. Tenet, Memento, Inception, anybody? No? Just me then. This was really 2 films. The first 2 hours was all about the race to build the nuclear bomb to kill people. While this was exciting, the end result is still horrible. The last hour was pretty much all about tearing the man down for doing his job. Much as I hate to say this, because I really don't like Robert Downey Jr., he ruined all the Marvel movies, in my opinion. This was probably the best I've ever seen him act. I really love to hate his character, and RDJ saved this film for me. Florence Pugh wasn't half bad either. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. As much as I like Chris Nolan, this film was a way too long, radioactive meh.
Okay.
Well, sir, I respectfully disagree.
I know you do.
Don't know I do.
I always
you
know.
don't know
I
me.
always know.
Wait a minute. Okay, can we just back the bus up for 1 second here? I'm sorry, what did you rate Barbie?
Mondo.
And what did you rate?
I gave it a Mondo.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Sometimes you guys get to the same point.
Yes,
You just get there in
but-
different
but
ways.
My
But no.
point is, I 99% of the time know exactly what.
Did you know I was going to give Barbie a Mondo?
Yes, I did. You know what? 2 reasons.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Noah Baumbach, Greta Gerwig.
Wow.
Before you even saw the movie, I knew you were going to give it a Mondo.
But you know what?
That has nothing to
It
do
could
with
have been the
anything.
biggest piece of trash
That is-
on the world.
that
In the
is-
world.
that is
Those 2
garbage.
people would have made it a Mondo. For
But you know what's even funnier is there's no possible way that Bryce could have predicted that Murray would give props to Robert Downey Jr.
That's probably
Right?
true.
You never would have saw that
Because he
coming.
knows I don't like him.
Yes, and usually when you don't like somebody, it doesn't matter if it's their best performance.
They're on for life. But no.
You literally can't stand Viola Davis, and she's the best actor on the planet.
I'm never gonna like her, but no, like he surprised me. He actually surprised me with the depth of his acting.
He was
So
amazing.
I have to give him props.
Anyway, back to you, Brycey.
Yes.
He was fine.
I'm sorry. Can we back this up one more time? You're comparing Robert Downey Jr.'s performance to the carrot/fennel of Matt Damon.
They were both fine.
They were, oh my God.
This was
Whatever you say now is like, it's like whatever.
no credibility.
Yeah, okay, let's just hear what you have to
They
say.
were
then.
both fine,
All right.
but they weren't what this was showcasing. So, you know, only Christopher Nolan can make a 3-hour film that doesn't waste a single moment. I believe that only Nolan could have told this story as effectively. It is an expertly made film made by a filmmaking expert. Cillian Murphy in the title role was mesmerizing. Every moment he was on screen was riveting. Surrounding Murphy is a who's who of competent actors, but this is Murphy's role to shine in, and the entire cast let him do so. This is a biopic that does not follow the formula of many in the genre. It instead explores the motivations in an unorthodox way as it jumps from timeline to timeline seamlessly. The fact that Nolan can jump around so much without losing the flow or cohesiveness of the story is a true representation of Nolan's genius. I was struck by the number of close-ups in this and how every time I was right there with the character as they questioned their decisions or wrestled with the person that they are or the person that they would like to be. The last hour has little to do with the bomb and more to do with accountability and sins of the past as we witness 2 tribunals taking place in different times but with an undeniable connection. Truths come to light, and we are given the opportunity to judge for ourselves. This film is why I love the movies. It is thought-provoking with stunning visuals and a tremendous performance from our lead. Nolan continues to make amazing film, although I wish him and everyone else would stop casting Rami Malek in anything. The man cannot act. He literally has one cadence to his speech that causes every performance to have zero range. But I digress. Malek was standing. Oppenheimer was Mondo.
Yeah, it was,
He didn't even have lines the first 2.5 hours.
and even then,
He
he
just
didn't
stood
like
in the
it.
background.
He's just awful. He doesn't act. He does the exact same character for everybody.
I don't know. I didn't mind.
He doesn't have any range whatsoever.
Yeah.
He has the exact same thing in every. It's like watching Tim Allen on the screen.
Hey. You leave the tool man alone now.
You know what?
Those are fighting words.
This is what I find so funny about Bryce is that he comes up with that for Rami Malek, but when you talk about
Ben
Mr.
Affleck.
Potato himself.
Oh, Mark
Well,
Ruffalo?
no, we're keeping Ben Affleck
keeping
because
that about it for
like
now?
the whole
Ben
conversation
Affleck's
because
yeah,
the
in a class
conversation
all by
about
himself.
because Ben Affleck is it's definitely in the class all himself.
Thank
I will
you.
100% agree with that.
Thank you.
No, but when he has this thing on for Rami Malek, but he doesn't realize it in other things like Mr. Potato himself,
No.
where he's the same note in every single movie,
That
and
is
yet he
not
doesn't
true.
recognize Mark Ruffalo as having that same problem.
That is not true.
It is 100% true.
Yeah, it is.
100% true.
That is not true.
Yes, it is. So I find it's funny how we apparently all have our own biases.
We
built
I have no
into-
biases.
Yeah,
if
you
Rami
do.
Malek would ever act,
He was cast to be that character, and that's like you don't think that Christopher Nolan knows his level
he was
of
cast
his
to be
acting
every
ability?
character that he's ever been.
No,
ever?
He was cast
to be
because he has an
he
Oscar.
he was cast to be that character that he plays all the time.
The snitch at the end.
And that's what he was there for. He was like in it for maybe 3 minutes
3
total.
scenes. Yeah,
I
three
know,
maybe.
and that's the only thing
the
that
first
saved
two-
the film. If you had a
first
major
two, he
role,
had no lines.
I'd be second guessing my Mondo because he was awful.
Well, I can tell you, I would be second guessing my Mondo if Matt Damon was the reason that I was watching the movie because he was terrible.
He was
awful.
fine.
He was terrible.
Fine.
Terrible.
Everybody was fine. It was all about.
It's
The only person
No.
we should be talking about is Murphy because he was amazing.
he was absolutely amazing.
And that's what this whole thing was. It was just surrounding him and letting people play off of him and just his reaction to it. Like he's an awesome actor, but he's never been this good. He's never been this good.
yeah, I don't know. I think
No.
he's never okay. So the reason
Never
I'm
been
disagreeing
this
with you
good.
because I put Killian back on years ago to go on Mesmerizing, but what
He
you convinced
absolutely
me,
was. And now he's just taken that to another
well,
level.
but I think he's never had the opportunity. He hasn't had a film that
never
has been
starred.
like
That's
this. So when you have a fantastic, mesmerizing actor,
That's fair.
who's put into a role that it's their make or break role for their life,
he
right?
is-
And there's not very many actors
He
get
has
that
been
chance.
in like 9 Christopher Nolan movies.
been in a lot of
9.
them.
This is the only one he actually has a starring role.
Yeah,
in.
well, he's
So obviously
he
Nolan
doesn't
knew he could pull
always
it off.
play the star. Like
Yeah.
he's not always the star,
No.
right? And so, yeah, I would agree with you that this was Killian's film.
He was good.
The thing that I would disagree with you wholeheartedly is that the competency of everyone else around him was also brought up to his level, except Matt Damon, and apparently you thinking with Rami Malek. I'll give you that because I'm not a Rami Malek fan, but I was like, whatever, I don't
Let's
care
not
about
forget
him.
the polka dot guy too.
Yeah, the polka dot guy.
Polka
it was
dot
like,
guy's
it was,
awesome
he's
in everything.
awesome
Like
in
one
everything.
scene. He had like one scene.
and he was so good in it.
when we eventually add him on to Mesmerizing
Now,
list
why isn't
with
he on
Cillian Murphy.
Mesmerizing?
Well, because
Oh, yeah,
because
he's
he
going to
hasn't-
get blasted right off
And
the
he,
top.
Cillian Murphy.
and he doesn't star in too many movies. He's a side
It
character.
doesn't
in
matter.
much
He was
everything.
just in Oppenheimer. And
yeah, but
Cillian Murphy
was he
just
in it
destroyed him.
Was he in for 5 minutes though? I don't know. Probably not. That's the question. Probably not.
3 hours.
So he could be
might
saying,
have been.
Yeah, he did come back a couple of times.
Glad he got 10 minutes worth.
Yeah, see, to me, all the bit characters in this, like Pew Pew was fantastic in the short amount of time that she
Yes,
was there.
she was.
Like you said, Murray, Robert Downey was the best I've ever seen him
Yeah, I
in
was
anything.
very surprised by that.
Except for maybe
Because
Chaplin.
I thought this
He
was
pretty good.
100%.
I thought that Robert Downey Jr. peaked many years ago in Weird Science, and anybody that argues with me
Weird Science.
is an idiot.
1985.
You know what? And that's almost a perfect time to transition into the next film
Is
that we
it, though?
watched. I don't know.
All
Who
right.
can argue with that?
We'll do it anyway.
Weird Science is probably the best. Sorry, was that a science? That wasn't a science
know,
fiction movie. That was a comedy.
It was a straight up
science
comedy.
fiction.
It
No,
was
it's
science fiction.
It was
No.
John Hughes, man.
It's not the
It
best.
was like Frankenstein.
It was a comedy. You mean
Weird
Young
Science.
Frankenstein?
Yeah, it was a hot Frankenstein.
It was
You mean-
Hot Frankenstein.
You mean young hot Frankenstein?
Kelly
Yeah.
LeBrock.
with a young Anthony Michael Hall.
There's so much good in that.
There is.
It is.
And Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton's
Yeah.
awesome in it.
Bill Paxton's best role ever.
Oh
Chet.
man,
And
It
we'll
is.
chat, but yeah.
it is so
Chet
good.
Ripley.
I think I need to watch Weird Science.
Yes, you do.
I think we do. We
But
should
I
make
will
a
not challenge
weird
you to rage on it because I love that movie.
I would never rage on it. I
Who
love
could
that
rage
movie.
on Weird Science?
That was like the beginning of my love affair with John Hughes. So
And it's the best.
And it was the
it's
just
the best that
John-
Robert Downey Jr.'s ever been.
okay, I guess we can
Oh,
go.
okay, I'm
I can't disagree with
100%.
that.
I'm 100% not
Plus,
agreeing with it,
It's
but
it's pre getting his dental work done, so he's got like this big gap in his teeth. It's
yeah.
awesome.
Is it also pre doing all the drugs?
it's
no,
probably
he was
during.
probably right in the middle.
Yeah,
of
that was-
all that. Okay.
Apparently, he had to be high to be.
Maybe not in the middle. That's probably where it was like starting big time. Because he was a bit of a bit player in that.
Yep.
Point is, he was really good in this.
Yeah, in this movie, he
And
was-
in Weird Science.
yeah, these two movies equally.
Yeah, his whole career right
I
there.
mean, Weird Science.
Forget about Iron Man. This is his two best films. Okay,
So we also got invited.
we did. So apparently they don't want me to read this a description from what somebody else
No,
wrote. So,
we wanna know
so
what
here,
you
here
thought
is
this
my breakdown of it.
This what was the movie we saw, Murray?
It was called Talk to Me. It
And
was
it's coming out this
Australian.
weekend.
It's coming out this weekend. Don't let my description sway you from seeing it. I'm just telling you what I think.
yeah, this is what his.
Right,
This
yeah.
is what they want me to do.
That's
A bunch of
That's what you're
stupid
paid to do.
people
Okay.
decide they want to try to raise the spirits of the dead at a party
Yeah.
using like this disembodied a hand of a dead psychic or something.
Ooh.
And yeah, little surprise, it does not end well.
what? What do you mean?
Sounds like such a happy film.
There. That's the description.
That's perfect.
That's exactly
That's
what
we
happens.
want.
That's exactly what happens.
Including the stupid
Our listeners,
part, 'cause they're stupid.
our listeners want to know what you think the movie's about.
Well, that's what I thought.
They don't want to read IMDb. They can do that themselves.
Yes.
So we got a chance to see a special preview of this film thanks to our good friends at Cuff. You
Calgary
never know what
Underground
to
Film Festival.
expect with a secret screening at Cuff.
That's true.
Half
Yep.
the time, Bryce has already seen it because he sees 20 movies a week.
Yeah, sometimes.
I still remember the film about the goat people having sex.
Oh, that was so good.
I digress.
Yep.
I knew if this was an A24 film, it was going to be good.
Yep.
Their track record speaks for itself.
It
It's
does.
crazy.
Plus,
it's the crazy.
it was Australian.
Even better.
Although I could have used some subtitles to help with the thick accent.
there was some pretty heavy
I
accents.
really enjoyed the first 2 minutes and the last 15.
17
Okay.
minutes.
Because
That's a high
that's,
percentage.
that's when basically people died.
Okay.
The rest of the time, not so much. As I said to our good friend and boss lady, Brenda Lieberman, there wasn't enough killing in it for me. I appreciated the whole talking to the dead thing
Yeah, it's-
and a little bit of exorcist action. It just wasn't scary enough. The special effects were cool. The CLFs were definitely creepy. It was as good as a supernatural thriller, just not a true horror film for me. All the performances were great. The film just didn't grab me, pun intended,
Yeah.
like I hoped it would. So it was a mildly enjoyable meh. It comes out this week if you want to judge for yourself.
There you go. What do you say, Brycey?
Talk to Me does what a lot of horror movies think that they are doing, but in Talk to Me's case, it actually does it. That being, it actually develops the characters to the
What?
point that you feel a genuine connection to them, which makes the ordeal that they find themselves in so much more compelling. You believe the motivations of the kids involved as you can feel their grief and depression, especially Sophie Wilde as Mia. Her performance added so much to the overall effectiveness.
Effectiveness?
Effectiveness, that is the word I was
Just make
going
the hand
for.
signals. I'll say your words.
With a presence that had me looking forward to her future in film. And Miranda Otto as Sue, a mom that tells it like it is, was as refreshingly realistic as any character that I've seen lately. She adds both humor and intensity
Dialogue
to the film.
amazing.
If you drink, I'm going to punch you in the face. That was her own kid.
The jump scares are present and the sound mix helps stand the hairs straight up on the back of your neck. I'm generally not a fan of spirit conjuring films, but when you get a star-making performance from Sophie Wilde and a script that gets you to honestly care about the lives of the characters, I cannot deny that this is an exception to the rule. That rule being that if it's a ghost story, it is probably meh, possibly a rage, but almost never Mondo. But in this case, rules be damned. Talk to me was Mondo.
What? We got a trifecta from Bryce today. What is going on?
This was an awesome weekend for Bryce.
You're
Bryce loved these
gonna
movies
have
this weekend.
you're gonna have a tough session of rage coming up. I kind of know what it's going to be already because the only thing bad he's
the summer
listed this
movies
week.
are typically terrible, but we just got one hell of a weekend.
Yeah, I would agree with you. So, I know my friends have already talked a little bit about what this is like, but what was this film about? Mia gets the worst hand job you can imagine. And
there are no bad hand jobs.
Bryce said, there are no bad hand jobs. What say you now, Bryce? Did Mia get the worst hand job of her life? It was a pretty terrible hand job.
Well, it didn't end well for her.
I would say the kid.
It wasn't a happy
ending for that hand job.
I would say the kid probably got it worse.
Well, there's a lot of bad hand jobs in this. So the fact remains that a hand job can, in fact, be not great.
All right.
Practical effects and children torture with a sprinkling of ghostly mental illness genre. Like the trailer makes you think this is one of those spirits that gets invited into our world because of this time a hand, as opposed to, say, something like a mirror or finding things on the internet, or, like anything else where they try and introduce a ghost in some stupid way. As with most Aussie horror films, this has a real gritty feel and takes its time to build the characters, as Bryce has already alluded to. It's one of those with high schoolers, where they are normally annoying. But in this one, I found I didn't despise all the characters, and they built the story slowly to get inside Mia's head. And, as Bryce has already said, the character development in this is probably better than most horror films that have come out in the last 10 years.
True.
And our lead, played by Sophie Wilde, is incredible.
She's so good.
I can't wait to see everything she does in the world. She's
so
brilliant
good
in this. I know everybody that's potentially seen the trailers for this because it's been playing for a while. Do not think that you're going to go to this and it's going to be one of those stupid teenage films. It is not that. The story follows most of the pattern of these types of films, but just done so much better. The horror when it comes is graphic and shocking at times, and the story is layered on top of the ghostly side of the story. Also carries the weight of Mia's mom dying 2 years prior. I thoroughly enjoyed the build to the story as well, as the ending finished super strong, although as was expected, but it didn't bother me in the least when it finally came. Some may feel the middle was maybe a bit draggy, but I enjoyed the slow build and the tension of seeing Mia's decline into madness, or was it ghostly possession? I guess you will all have to see it and decide for yourself. Except, the ending pretty much spells that out. But, go see it, because for a teenage mental illness ghost story, surprisingly, it was Mondo, and I loved it.
It was so good.
I got a couple things to unpack. Number one, which country on the planet, and we live in a country where there's a significant amount of indigenous people. What country does that any better than the Aussies and the Kiwis? Like, no, they get that. They put indigenous people in the movies, and they're just people who live
They don't
along
play off
society.
that they're indigenous.
Yeah,
they're just this is our cross section of
existing.
society.
It's
this is how
so
it is.
refreshing to see it. It's like, wow, these people are human and they just happen to be part of our society. I'm just flabbergasted that when it's in everywhere else in the world, it's just not done. They're just not even cast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would say on a whole, every Aussie film, I would say probably at least 20% of the population are indigenous, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep that up, Aussie. Aussie rules, is that a thing?
Yes.
It's like they play rugby or something.
Aussie rules football.
Oh, there you go. Which is rugby?
No,
It's just football.
It's
Soccer?
It's football with no pads.
It's kind of a combination.
Yes,
so
rugby.
it's
but
rugby,
yeah, no pads.
soccer, football.
No helmets, no nothing.
I actually thought that I'd like to be like a Aussie rules referee at one point. I was practicing.
There's no rules.
single point, 2 points. I like how they kind of step from the corner, step into the field of play, and then give the old symbol.
Finger?
Yeah, they give the finger.
It just seems like they're
It's
just
really
trying to kill
good.
each other. That's all it seems to me. But it looks like fun. But
Yeah, I just like
I
watching
would
the
never do
referees.
it. But
So apparently there's 2 Aussie rules. Number 1, they get indigenous people. And number 2 is some kind of football, soccer
and their sports are
thing
like
without.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Another thing to mention.
Okay.
The fucking graphic scenes in this were
Yeah.
done amazing.
True.
The head smash scene,
Really good.
the second head smash scene,
Also really good.
third head smash scene.
the third head smash
Also
scene.
really good.
The foot sucking,
Oh, the
that was
foot
also
sucking was awesome.
so good. So these are things you have to look forward to, folks. Please go see this movie in
Yes.
cinemas. You will not be disappointed at
Yeah.
all. And thanks, Cuff. Look at everything, Cuff, at calgaryundergroundfilm.org. They are
right.
the best film festival on the planet. So everybody come to Calgary and see it every year. Like us.
Like we do. We're lucky to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Some of us lucky to work for them.
Yep. Is this your favorite Rami Malek films, Mike? In order of his great performances?
No, Matt Damon.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I
no,
almost
that's
did Ryan Gosling. I swear to God, I was going to do Ryan
That's
Gosling.
okay. I love Ryan Gosling.
Yes, I love the Gosling. No, this week I want to show some love to my new favorite film company, A24.
What?
We just saw Talk to Me, which is another great film and a long line of hits they seem to produce. I'm not going to list them all, but I have to mention some of the biggies.
Mm.
Past Lives, Beau is Afraid,
Mm.
Showing Up,
Yes.
You Hurt My Feelings,
Yes.
The Eternal Daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Stars at Noon,
Yes.
Come On, Come On, First Cow,
Oh. so
Uncut Gems,
Yep.
and The Green Knight.
good. Nice.
And those are just films I didn't see or I didn't like that everybody else loved.
I loved all.
I
of those
loved
films.
all of those films.
Now, some of my favorites. The Whale,
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yes.
Men,
Yes.
Oh, so good.
X,
Yes.
Marcel the Shell with Shoes
Yes.
Eh, meh.
on,
That's good.
After Yang,
Yeah, After Yang's
The
brilliant.
Florida
Yang's amazing.
Project,
Yes.
Yep.
Green Room,
Yes.
Ex Machina.
Yes.
There are just two.
Have they ever
It's
made a bad
crazy.
movie?
I don't think they
There's
have.
no. There's a few on the list I didn't because you.
Well,
like,
just
yeah,
you,
they-
but
no, I
that's-
mean there was some that didn't do well.
They're,
Oh,
they
okay.
they must be batting like
I don't
over
mean
900.
do well. I mean that are actually good.
No. There was some stinkers in there that you wouldn't have liked. No, they're not batting 1,000. I mean, but they're a good high 80s.
I want Bryce to research this next.
I'm
you do
thinking I
you
might.
do that.
Can we put it? Sorry, just want to add there. Is there a way that we could put them on the undoubted list?
A24.
Just the production house.
There's a lot of good movies they're making. They're coming out. And you know what? All of these films have in common. Not one of them is a Hollywood blockbuster or stars a superhero of any kind.
I don't know. I
They
think
consistent. Well, unless you
think
count Marcel.
everything,
Well,
everywhere, all at once.
she's
She was
just-
a superhero.
She's just a regular woman trying to, save her family.
She's a mom.
But they made her into a superhero. But no. Anyway, they consistently seek out the most original, heartwarming, and deeply weird films that they know audiences will love.
Yeah.
But that is not the only reason I have to give them some props.
What?
Because they are not affiliated with major Hollywood studios, they are still producing films, even during this awful double strike.
What?
They receive special exemption from both unions to keep working.
Oh, because they don't use AI.
They don't.
So all the other ones are trying to screw out the actors and writers, and they say,
Warner
no,
Brothers
we pay
or
people.
Universal or Disney or Paramount, they don't work for them. They have they're their own company.
So we thought it was all about Tubi, but apparently it's all about A24.
Exactly.
24.
A24
joins forces with Tubi.
I wish they would
That
shoot
would
a
be
couple
awesome.
films here so I can get back to work. But yes, we love A24.
Can you reach out? Just reach out to them, Murray. Say, hey, I need a job, and there's a great,
Yes.
there's a great
And
film.
while you're at it, tell them, you guys should talk to Tubi.
All right, that's all I got.
That's awesome.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
Okay, we'll make this real quick. It's a continuation of last week with an addition. Christopher Nolan, I hate your guts. I know it's your fault that all those trailers are there, but I love your movies. That's point one. Point two, Matt Damon, pick up your socks. That's my rages.
I would also add, stop hanging out with Ben Affleck. He's bringing you down.
Whatever.
Who, Matt Damon
Affleck,
or...
Ben Affleck brings
Oh,
no
yeah.
one down.
Well,
Everybody aspires to go to the heights of
I
Mr.
think
Affleck.
perhaps Ben Affleck rubbed off on Matt Damon, and
That's
maybe
what I
that's
mean.
why
Oh,
he
that
was
would
like
make
a
him. That would
potato.
make
He
him
learned how
superior.
to suck from Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
What are you guys? I don't understand. I get that you guys are like having fun, but at some point it just gets old. I mean, we all know how awesome Ben
It never will
Affleck
get
is.
old. As long as
So
you're
it's
trashing,
like-
as long as you're trashing Tim Allen, I'm going to keep trashing.
You know what? I'm
Affleck.
staying out of this argument now.
Just saying.
Only because
What
I've
do you
got
think of Tim Allen? What do you think of Tim
I
Allen?
think Galaxy
there?
Quest was awesome.
That's
Gosh.
right. And the
because
Santa Claus
Has
movie.
nothing to do with Tim Allen.
Anyway, is that your rage?
That's it.
I plead the fifth.
I wonder what my rage will be this week. I wonder.
It has some.
Rami
It
Malek.
rhymes with ham hock. Hammock. Hammock.
Pammy Mammoth.
Hammock.
The hammock.
Lammy Skammock.
Banana hammock.
Yes. Yes, you are correct. Rami Malek is terrible. What is the deal with casting him in anything? He has one note, which is creepy and off-putting, which is fine if you're casting him as a pedophile, but not if you're casting him as a nuclear physicist. Every time I see Malek, it makes me rage. Thank goodness he is only present for a few moments in Oppenheimer. Rami Malek in anything is my rage this week.
You know who's a better nuclear physicist?
Who?
Denise Richards.
Absolutely.
I just thought of that.
That's pretty. She is pretty good.
She was in World's Not Enough. That's what she played.
They're both super believable.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Okay, well, we had to make a switch up from last week because I could not find
I don't
that
understand.
movie.
why
I
you
went
can never
everywhere. I
find
can never.
anywhere.
Yeah, I was trying to get Hello Davis taken off the list, but Jim conveniently couldn't find the movie she was watching.
I couldn't find it, and I thought I could, but then I went and looked everywhere. I couldn't get it legally.
All right.
So you know the rules. Got to be legal.
All right, then.
So we did a quick replacement. So Bryce put forward one of Murray's earlier ideas that he remembered with his super brain power before he lost all his sleep.
Yeah, I'm just
Toast. He has
right
zero memory now. especially because he thought Matt Damon was fine in that last movie.
He's fine.
We got to see the Last Picture Show with Jeff Bridges, a.k.a. the Dude, and Ellen Burstyn, the Yummy Mummy.
So our Mesmerized Off got switched up a little. Still Ellen Burstyn, but this time she's going head-to-head.
With Jeff Bridges, the Dude.
The Dude.
Yes.
In fairness to the Dude, though, this was him really young in his career.
That's true.
Was he in it more than 5 minutes?
He was in it for more than 5 minutes. So was she.
Yeah, they were both in for more than 5 minutes.
And in my opinion, like, she just crushed him like a bug.
Yeah, it's not even close.
It's not even close. Like, I had such impure thoughts about Reagan's mother from The Exorcist, and her role in The Exorcist is only, I think, a year after this came out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, you're the sexiest
she's so good in it. She's like, there's two performances in this that are tremendous, and the rest is kind of. I remember this being so much better than it is. I don't know why.
And, it's a classic piece of American cinema, right? Yeah. Because it's that moment in time in like a dying town.
And on that level, I mean, it's fine, but boy, I just remember really, really liking this.
I know.
I watched it again,
too.
and I was like, I kind of wish I didn't watch it again because I preferred remembering it the way I remembered it.
But did you remember Ellen Burstyn being as amazing as she was
Ellen
in this film?
Ellen Burstyn was just absolutely amazing. She was so good. So,
I'm sorry, the Dude.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges, you gone.
You gone. Sad day. All right, the Mur. What do you got on deck for us for next week?
Another Ellen Burstyn, or you want to try something else?
Whatever you want.
Whatever
We're game for
the next one. Actually, the only left on her thing is something called Spitfire Grill.
Oh,
Ellen Burstyn and Will Patton, who is still on our list apparently.
Yep.
Why wouldn't
he be?
And I wouldn't challenge you with Armageddon for him. So this is a little better.
We saw. We had to see Armageddon.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. There was some, did have.
This is going to be a pretty even performance. I feel.
Assuming he's in it more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think they're pretty close. Well, no, she's probably a little bit older than him. Yeah, cool, awesome. So next week, look for Spitfire Grill.
There you go.
We'll see if she will keep her title. It's just.
I know I've seen this movie. I do not remember it.
Yeah, me too. So it means it was probably meh.
Probably. I see a lot of movies, though. Sometimes Mondos fade, too, for me.
Yeah, it's true. And then...
when you've seen, like, 8 billion
And
movies.
then you remember the time you thought you liked that Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah.
Remember that?
You were mistaken.
It's like, yeah, that was pretty good. Oh, no, it was awful. What was I thinking?
You were not.
Apparently, 13-year-old Bryce's brain wasn't fully developed yet.
That's right. Murray's still working on that 13-year-old brain.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my buddy from Toronto has not seen a single one of Indiana Jones movies.
I'm jealous.
None of them.
Kidding.
Because I suggested going to that one. He's like, I haven't seen any of them. I'm like, really? Like, I know he's not that old. Like, he's in maybe 30. But, I mean, I thought he would have at least seen the last one. But, nope.
I'm kind of jealous of him.
There you go. Somebody else lives in your world.
Yep.
Is that all you got?
That's all we got.
Not going to put anybody else?
Nope.
Okay, then.
Hey there, Ragettes. Apparently Bryce is still here. Jim has recovered from Martin Lawrence repulsive disorder, and Murray lost all his jobs. Wow, what a difference a week makes. Even though I still think Casey and the Ragettes would have made an awesome off-Broadway musical podcast extravaganza, we will have to wait to see. For now. So, Bryce welcomed Jim back to the show with a random choice from his bag of total repulsiveness when he was dared to see, that's right, more Martin Lawrence in the 2000 film College Road Trip. 3 things I definitely think of when I think of Martin Lawrence. This week, our 2 little masochists can choose to dare or Casey. Now let's see if Jim regrets coming back to the podcast only to be served with a huge helping of Martin, or... what or? Of course he regrets it!
Casey, I love you so much. Okay, so... college? road trip.
It seemed like a
Sounds like a party.
Yeah. In what universe did the world, or anyone for that matter, ever think that typecasting Martin Lawrence as, can we guess, a police officer? In fact, in this film, he was the chief of police. Does anything about Martin Lawrence scream police officer?
Was Will Smith with him?
No.
Oh.
But yeah, he seems to be cast as a police officer a lot more than I would think. And I don't understand it.
He's been in like 6 or 7 movies where he's played a police officer.
I mean, is it his absolute repulsive way he plays a dad that is obnoxiously overbearing? Well, that kind of says cop, actually. Is it the way that he is in no way funny in any way? Okay, that I see that. Maybe the cop stereotyping may be correct then. Cops usually aren't that funny either.
Serious.
But enough about Martin Lawrence, because although he is the main actor, there is nothing in this film that we haven't seen in any other repulsive Martin Lawrence film, or as I like to say, RML now, repulsive Martin Lawrence film, that we haven't seen before. So it's like not even worth really mentioning. He's just repulsive from the moment he comes on the screen to the time he leaves the screen. But in this,
there's a but.
we got to see Raven, the other star.
She's so Raven.
She was so Raven as an actor on the ABC Disney TV side of things. And she sure as hell isn't any better as a movie actor. And pretty much everything she says is Disneyfied, or should I say Disneyfyingly overacted and completely repulsive.
Oh, no.
Hey, there seems to be a pattern here. And then a road trip akin to Britney Spears' Crossroads, where nothing makes sense, is not funny, or has any redeeming qualities whatsoever. The only thing that was less than 100%, and if we supersaturate it with some heat, let's go to 120% repulsiveness, was the supreme acting by Albert the Pig, the Japanese tour bus karaoke scene, and the fantastic performance by Donny Osmond, who basically plays himself, because I'm a huge fan of his, as you don't know, because I myself am also a little bit rock and roll. Hashtag Donny Osmond man crush.
Okay.
Basically, the story is the repulsive Martin Lawrence is an overprotective father. Where have we seen that before? Who wants his daughter to go to Northwestern University because it is 28 minutes drive from his house. She wants to go to Georgetown. So after a bunch of stupid antics where he tries to trick her into going to his choice, but then she figures it out because he and his plans for tricking her are completely stupid and also repulsive, the pig Albert and their genius spectrum-ridden youngest son sneak along to come with them for what reason I can't figure out, followed by what seems like hours and hours of competition between who can be more repulsive, between That's So Raven TV repulsive and terrible typecast Martin Lawrence repulsive, with a tween Disney plot and writing that gets progressively more idiotic and repulsive, right up until the very end, where, as expected, everything happens as you would expect from a Disney writing staff who are used to writing stories for 11-year-old girls who love ABC after-school TV specials. So this probably would have been a mondo for Bryce, seeing as most of the times he's an 11-year-old girl. Most days. But for me, it was the most excruciatingly repulsive film of all times. FYI, That's So Raven is so repulsive. And this film, of course, was That's So Rage. She is rivaling Martin Lawrence. I never thought I would ever see someone that is more repulsive than Martin Lawrence until they found the two of them to be together in a movie.
Wow.
She is literally the worst actor I've ever seen.
Not Raven.
Yes. She's awful.
Yes.
Like, she just... Everything is completely overacted, and it's just terrible.
She was awesome when she was 3.
I don't know. I've never seen her when she was 3.
Yeah, you have.
What have I seen her as?
It's in that show that we can't mention because of the guy whose name is on it.
She was in the Cosby Show.
Oh, the Cosby. Yeah, oh,
She was adorable. She was 3 years old.
Raven Symone.
Don't want to see that. To see.
What was her name in that? I don't even remember.
I don't
But
know.
she was pretty cute.
I think it was Olivia.
Olivia, that's
There
it.
you go.
She was Olivia.
Yeah, she was awful, and this movie was completely terrible.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
As she got older, she actually got more and
Repulsive?
more and
Or
more
Disneyfied.
repulsive.
And yeah, Disneyfiably repulsive.
Mm,
Like those two together in a movie was just.
not good.
It almost took me out again. I was like, no, I can't take this.
All right, let's.
So I'm looking forward to the Dare bag this week. I can't do the Casey. I can't go back to back Casey and that. So where is our Dare bag?
I don't know. It's there somewhere.
Is this, what's this
That's mine.
No, it's a big one.
one? This one?
That's
No?
it. No.
What's the one you just said over there?
That's the one.
There it is.
There you go.
All right, go ahead, Bryce. What are we seeing next week?
Well, sir, we are seeing. Oh, Freddy got fingered.
That sounds awesome. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Sign me up, Tom Green.
Tom Green. Although I don't think that's Tom Green's best film.
No,
I don't know. Well, I guess we're going to find out.
Charlie's Angels? I don't know.
Charlie's Angels? I don't know.
I don't know.
Chad.
The Chad.
The Chad. I mean, who doesn't love our boy,
Who doesn't
Tommy?
love the Chad?
Absolutely.
That's right. Who doesn't
Actually,
love
I've
the
seen him
Chad?
on a couple of reality shows. He's somewhat normal now.
What?
I didn't enjoy him as an actor, but being himself, I actually kind of liked him.
Okay.
Just being himself.
I can never tell you a time I did not love him. So this is going to be interesting. All right. Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to Extended Film Rage family, who you can find them in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, the nerdy photographer, for the voice of Rage or Dare, and also the God of Rage. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site from Redbubble and TeePublic. We are always wanting to make this a raging blast for our listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 I'll make us a rage. And that's it for this week. A rage.
Rage on.